Om Shanti, good evening. So, this evening we have an interesting topic on identifying the inner blind spots, but not just identifying, but going into a process of metamorphosis that is transforming those blind spots. And so, before we start this topic, just sit down in a few moments of silence. I know you just meditated, but just take 1 minute of just deep silence, a few seconds of deep silence, so that you're, um, totally present. Thank you. This presence of mind is very important because sometimes we think we are listening, but we may be listening from our headspace. To really, for the soul to listen or for the heart to listen, I need that silence. Because if there is no silence of the mind, I'm actually not listening. It's not going deep inside. And so, especially being on the Zoom, sometimes you may think that, let me keep doing this work and listen. But when you're doing that, you're actually missing out a lot of things because when you quietly sit down for a few moments and listen to something keenly, then it's actually there is an understanding at the same time. I'm having an experience of it. But if I'm doing things and then listening at the same time, it's not really going inwards. It's not really going inside. And so take these few moments and sit down for a few moments and, listen from the heart. So when I was actually reflecting on this topic, metamorphosis of my inner blind spots, you know, actually when I was, reflecting on inner blind spots, then I have seen that many people actually have been talking about this on, about identifying the blind spots or knowing the blind spots. But I think very few actually, and speak about transforming these blind spots. So this whole metamorphosis has to actually take place when I identify my blind spots. Well, let me just look into what is this, what are these blind spots that we are talking about. So just before that, we go into the session, I wanted to, share this presentation. Okay. So yes, it's the metamorphosis of my inner blind spots, and the term metamorphosis means, um, I mean, I'm sure many of you know it, but this term metamorphosis is the transformation that takes place, say, for example, from a caterpillar to a butterfly, right? A whole new transformation that takes place. So, that whole entire process of the transformation from a caterpillar into a cocoon and, you know, transforming into a butterfly is that metamorphosis. And so, blind spot, to begin with, actually, we all have a blind spot in our eyes. In our eye, there is a blind spot which actually obstructs my, my visual. So it is said that, say, when you have two alphabets on a screen, and say if you close one eye and from the other eye you are looking at another alphabet, so say A and B, two different alphabets, and so you are closing one eye, and say you're closing your right eye, and then you're looking at the other one alphabet with the other eye. And when you continuously look for, when you're seeing that alphabet for a little time, what happens is that you start to experience that the alphabet is disappearing. So our eyes, to begin with, has a blind spot which actually creates an obstruction to our visual field. I'm really not able to see everything that I'm seeing, you know. And so, in the same way, most of us are drivers, we drive. Um, and so, when we drive, we all know about the blind spots that we experience sometimes while driving, right? We may think that, everything is clear, but while you're learning to drive, you're always warned that always look for your blind spots. Sometimes you're driving and then you may not know somebody is right beside you, and you're trying to change the lane. What happens? It may not be a good experience at all. So sometimes these blind spots can create this obstruction for us to reach our destination. So the area around the vehicle that cannot be directly absorbed by the driver, and that's why these days, they have another mirror as well to check your blind spot so that you're clear in your way and you don't meet with any kind of obstructions or accidents. And so that's about these external blind spots that we experience. But what are the, just like how there are certain things that, having these two eyes, physical eyes, we're unable to see certain things externally. In the same way, we all have that spiritual blindness. We all have few blind spots inside us. In the soul, there are blind spots that I'm unable to actually see them. And these blind spots are actually my weaknesses. There are some weaknesses which are sitting inside, and we repeatedly, keep um, keep using those weaknesses. Repeatedly, we fall into that pit of weaknesses, and we are, unknowingly, we have these weaknesses, and we are unknown to these weaknesses, and they are completely becoming an obstruction for my spiritual growth. They don't allow me to move forward. And I'm completely blinded. They're inside me. They're not allowing me to progress in life. And I'm completely blinded to those weaknesses inside. And so, what happens when I am blinded to these weaknesses which are inside myself is that they are creating an obstruction for my highest, to reach my highest potential. The soul has this wonderful potential inside. We can do really whatever we want. We can reach to heights. We can really experience that absolute peace, happiness. Sometimes we want to reach our goals, but there are certain internal habits, there are internal blind spots that I'm unable to recognize, and those blind spots keep becoming an obstruction. Say it could be my sensitivity. I may be too sensitive, like touch me not. Even if somebody says something, that's it. I become so sensitive that, you know, I sulk and I get into moods, and or I, create a certain attitude that doesn't allow me to move forward in life. Mm, right. Or I become disheartened, or it could be the weakness of reacting to everything very quickly. I'm not thinking twice what I'm saying, what I'm talking. There could be this internal habit of just reacting very quickly. And that habit is not actually allowing me to move forward. It's stopping me from reaching my heights. And then we think, oh, why did I do that? But I'm not taking a few moments of silence to actually look into myself. What is that stopping me from doing what I really want to do in life? And so, one is definitely, to reach my spiritual heights. It could be anything in life. Sometimes we are at work, we have passion, we're ambitious, we want to do something, we want to reach something, but there is no balance of certain attitude that I have to have. There are certain weaknesses, blind spots inside me that I'm not actually identifying it. And those blind spots they're not allowing me to move forward. So it's not just with passion, I just, keep doing things. But I also have to learn that right attitude, that right way of thinking, that right way of actually doing. Otherwise, what happens is these blind spots can create a lot of self deception. I can deceive myself, I can be in an illusion. I'm so perfect, I'm wonderful, I'm doing very well, but internally, I'm not creating a deeper change inside me. And because of not having that deeper change, it's creating a self deception in me. I'm being deceived again and again with those blind spots inside me. And it also affects my decision making as well. When I have these blind spots, it completely affects, because blind spot blind me from inside. It's like my inner eye is absolutely closed. And because this inner eye is closed, I don't know how to make the right decision, because I'm not able to see the right. And so, what is happening is also that I may be, creating, um, judgmental behavior inside, a biased, based on my blind spots, a biased way of, deciding things. And all of this is connected also again to influence. We get influenced so much. What's happening out there? Every moment we are influenced. Since morning, just think about yourself. Since morning, did you get influence? What way? In good way, bad way? Huh? So many ways we get influence. As soon as we go out into the world, as soon as we are listening to someone, as soon as we're seeing the news, watching the news, we are hearing someone, we are all the time being influenced. And so that influence can also be one of the weaknesses, my blind spots, that I quickly change my thinking. I'm never stable minded. If I'm too many times influenced, I don't know where to actually go if I'm too much influenced. Then I'm always having a confused mind. It's affecting my decision making. So when I identify my blind spots, I am in truth. And when I'm in truth, I'm stable inside. When I'm stable inside, I'm actually able to see the truth and make the right decisions. Otherwise, I'm too confused, too influenced, and my mind keeps, you know, it becomes a fickle mind. Sometimes this way, sometimes that way, sometimes this, sometimes that. And so this also affects my performance. If I want to do something consistently, I'm not able to do it. And so, what these blind spots bring, blind spots having these weaknesses, these blind spots inside, create a lot of pain, discomfort, because it's upsetting me, right? Say I could be having a blind spot of carrying somebody's mistake for years and years, and I don't know how to. I don't want to forgive them. First of all, who am I to forgive? And the other thing is, when I think I have to forgive, I will not forgive this person. What I'm doing is I'm actually keeping in, myself in pain. So these blind spots bring a lot of pain and discomfort inside. Having weaknesses is creating an upset mood, pain for my own self. It's not about others, because many times we say it's about others, it's because of others. And so I need to identify, I need to see how clearly do I see myself? Do I know myself internally very well? Ask yourself this question. Do I know myself very well? Sometimes others are seeing my blind spots. I'm not able to see my own blind spot. So, this question is something very profound to ask myself. Do I see myself very clearly? Do I know who am I? Do I know my weaknesses, and also my strengths? Do I know that? Because sometimes it's easy. We appreciate others, we look at others. We say, oh, this one is wonderful, this one is not good, this one. Well, like all the time, these eyes are watching somebody else out there. But it's a beautiful practice of looking at yourself inside and knowing yourself very well, because when you know yourself, you're grounded. You know where you're going wrong and you're able to immediately correct yourself. So, this whole spiritual journey actually begins from knowing myself. I shouldn't become blinded to my own truth. Or do I have an illusion view about myself that these, internally these weaknesses are sitting and I'm just ignoring? I don't want to actually. That's who I am. Sometimes we say, that's my nature. What can I do? That's who I am. I don't want to change. But when I'm saying that, I'm not allowing this beautiful butterfly which is sitting inside, meaning these wonderful strengths and potential and the And the qualities that I have, I'm not allowing them to emerge. Blind spots will completely let me always be that caterpillar. There must be such wonder inside me. I need to actually allow that to happen. So know yourself very well. Sometimes we think, people around me know me. But no, you yourself know, your own self well. You know your own self well. And God knows you. He knows exactly what's your DNA, spiritual DNA. So this is something to reflect on, think about. Do I really know myself very well? My strengths, my weaknesses. So blind spot is a repetitive nature. What I do is it's like I'm trapped in that weakness. I'm trapped in that blind spot because I don't know I have it. I keep repeatedly doing the same mistakes again and again. And then when I perform those same mistakes again and again, it becomes like a chronic behavior. Hmm? And I become helpless of my own behavior, of my own um, these blind spots. I don't know why I'm behaving like this. I don't know why I'm doing like this. Sometimes people actually uh, they move from one place to another, or sometimes they quit from certain relationships because they can't deal with certain people, or they can't be in a certain place. But it is equally important for me to check, how much am I responsible for a situation? How much am I responsible for what's going on in my life? It is important to check that, because we are so much busy blaming others sometimes. But it could be, the problem could be me. Maybe something I need to change inside. And I'm just blinded to that whole thing. Even sometimes I know I have it. I don't want to actually address it. So I'm repeating the nature again and again. But who is at loss? I am at loss. And so I may be moving from one place to another, but I may be facing the same problem again and again. I leave one job and then I go to another. I leave one place to I go to another, and I'm experiencing the same thing, and I'm not recognizing it's me. I'm blinded. And the same problems are repeating. And I say what to do. I moved, I changed, but I again have the same problem. So it's important that, I need to deeply go check and create this transformation inside, bring this transformation. Otherwise, there will be a time that I'll be left with my weaknesses, my blind spots, and they will trouble me. And I may not be having time to change, or I may not be having that power anymore to transform. So I need to check, what are those blind spots, or what are those weaknesses that I repeat again and again. I fall into that trap, and I'm behaving like that again and again, because it's not bringing any kind of benefit in me. So sometimes having these blind spots, we create a false mask. Now that we have this pandemic, we all have to wear masks, right? This has become a new normal for all of us, wearing masks. Before, only if we had a flu or something, we used to wear a mask, but very rarely. But now it's become a new normal that we cannot go out without wearing a mask. And even When you're home and there are too many people, you need a mask. But in the same way, what is happening is that when I have these blind spots inside, I have these blind spots, but I'm not acknowledging them, then I have a false mask. I have a false face to the world. Inside I'm something, outside I'm something. Externally I'm showing a very happy face to the world, a perfect face. I'm wonderful, I'm excellent, I'm perfect. But internally there is another story going on. Internally I'm holding something, I'm not happy inside. Internally I'm holding something from the past. Internally maybe I'm jealous about somebody, I'm burning inside. Having jealousy is like, I don't want to do the work, but I want to reach there. How is it possible without hard work I can reach a destination? Even though if I reach, because of jealousy and competition, if I reach a destination, I cannot actually hold it for a long period of time, because everything needs a method, meaning, there is a way to get to anything in life. If I want quick fixes, it won't happen. You want to fix something going on in your physical body quickly. You need to let it heal, right? When doctor gives you medication, he'll say so many days you need to take. This is like a course you need to take so many days. But if you just skip it and say 1 day, 2 days, but the healing is not happening inside. I may have fixed it externally, but internally it's not healed completely. So what happens? It keeps again and again repeating again and again inside, and that whatever I'm experiencing physically, it can become chronic. In the same way, stop having this false mask face out to the world that I'm wonderful, I'm perfect, but internally have so many blind spots, and I'm feeling miserable about my own blind spots, but externally I'm acting perfectly. So it's like self deception. I'm deceiving my own self. But at one point, some time in life, those blind spots will be revealed. I cannot act for a long period of time, because people are my mirror. Who looks at my blind spots are people around me. They know, they're seeing, right? So let this transformation happen from inside. Let me not have a mask of externally projecting something else. That means I'm not allowing myself to transform. So, what happens when I have this false face? I'm disappointed. There are disappointments. I feel hopeless inside because of my own weakness. So even though I'm identifying, it's not that identifying my weakness or my blind spots, meaning I have to feel, disappointed. Like, oh, see, I'm having this, what to do? I'm feeling hopeless. And because I'm feeling hopeless, I just ignore. I don't want to make any effort. I deny I don't have it. So knowing your blind spots doesn't mean that you have to feel hopeless. We are all in a journey. We are all making effort, right? We all are in a journey. Sometimes it does happen that it's not that internal transformation, internal, this metamorphosis takes place in a day. No, you have to let the caterpillar go into the cocoon. You can't do it quickly. You have to let it, that healing process should take place. So sometimes what happens is that you may be meditating, or you may think like, oh, from today, I will not behave like this. But what happens instantly the next moment you get a test paper? Hmm? And then again, I fall into that. Again, I repeat it. What happens then? I feel like, no, again I did it. And then I become hopeless. I don't want to. Let it be like that. I don't want to change. Right? So, no, that's, that's what metamorphosis means. That I see something and I work on it. Yes, sometimes it feels disappointment. Again, I did the same mistake. It's okay. It's okay. Keep taking the steps forward. But learn, I have to learn from those mistakes, have courage, and keep moving forward. You know, I can't feel like, looking at my blind spots, uh, you know, feel sad about it. So one is partially, yes, I know my blind spots. Um, I am working on it, but sometimes I may repeat it. I'm feeling disappointed about it. But there is another state of blindness. One is like partial blindness that you can see, when you have that, what do you call cataract? That layer on the eyes, you can't see it clear. And so there are these layers of, uh, you know, like the the false layer of mask that I'm not able to see very clearly what's going on inside. And on the other hand, we can also become completely blind to our own self. It's called the complete state of blindness. So what happens in this complete state of blindness? I act from ego. I act from ego that I'm perfect. I'm wonderful. Even if someone is saying, hey, you have this, and I'm hearing from a few people around me, but I'm completely in denial that, I'm so blinded with ego that I don't want to bring any change inside me. And if somebody shows me this is what it is, then I would say, did you see your blind spots? Look at your own self. I may say, I am perfect, you are the problem to others because of you. So we all keep playing this blame game all the time, that because of you I'm feeling like this, because of you I'm this way. But there is always an opportunity that I create this metamorphosis inside me, create this transformation inside me. How long will I blame others? But I have that, what do you call, um, that button inside where others are pressing it. And so remember that we all become mirrors to see each other's blind spots. But of course, the I have to become that humble, being inside to recognize and change. If I see something, yes, okay, I understand, yes, I have this, let me work towards it. But if I'm too stubborn and I don't want to work on my blind spots, then I'll be at loss. And nobody would want to be with me, because who would want to be with somebody who is in a state of ego, who are blinded, who don't want to bring any change in them? Who wants to work with such a person? Who wants to be with such a person? And so let me not live in this state of ego. So how can I see my blind spots? What is the methodology? How do I see? Okay, we've been talking about blind spots all this time, and how it creates this, how I have this partial blindness or complete blindness. Then how do I see my blind spots? And so, yes, the powerful. method, the powerful way to see my blind spots is it begins from silence. It begins from that, silence. In silence, I'm actually withdrawing myself from the external sources, from everything around me, and it is creating inside me that power of introspection. So there are two powers I need to see my identify my blind spots. That is the power of introspection and power of discernment. And so just think about it, that when can you actually silently look at your own mistakes or your blind spots is, when you actually become silent. When you're angry, you can't see. When you're judgmental, you can't see. When you're too busy in your life, you cannot see. You may be running to achieve something and you're blinded to your own weaknesses, and that's creating like an obstruction. And I say, I'm working hard, but I don't know why I can't reach the destination. Say you're in a good position, you're working, and even at your workplace, but you don't know how to talk nicely to people. You don't know what others are feeling. You don't know how others are feeling in a in a relationship. I don't know how I'm actually behaving with others, and I may behave in a certain way and then I cover it up. No, no, I was okay. No. All of this, I'm able to actually recognize what's going on inside me when I become silent, when I have a spiritual practice, when I withdraw myself and silently sit down. Oh, this is where I went wrong. I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that. But said and done is coming from a deeper aspect that is called sanskar. So when I have the power of introspection, I'm able to learn about my sanskars. What are these sanskars? Sanskars are deep habits, these repetitive habits which we have inside. We repeat the same old thing. We don't think about it. We don't understand I'm doing a mistake. I just do it. That's called sanskar. It's like a deep memory track inside. And so, in that introspection, I'm able to learn my own sanskars. I'm able to see my own sanskar. And I have to bring that shift. I have to work on it. It's not just enough if I identify, yeah, yeah, I have ego. But what am I doing about that ego? Yeah, yeah, I'm too sensitive. But what am I doing about that sensitive nature? And so, a regular practice of meditation, a regular practice of affirmations, reflections, silence will actually help you to go inwards. This whole journey is about going inwards. If you're too busy in your life, you don't know what you're doing internally to yourself. If you don't give some time for your to turn inwards and to look at your own self, you will never know what sort of person you are from inside, what sort of soul you are from inside. So this introspection, turn your eye from outside to inwards. Stop looking at others. When I look at others, I will never be able to reach my destination. A driver has to focus on the road. They say wherever your eye goes, your car will be driven there, right? If even for few seconds I look somewhere, that's where my car is driven towards. In the same way, if I'm busy looking at the world, what's happening in the world, um, and what's happening in people's life, if I'm too busy externally having these eyes extroverted, then I am blinded to my own blind spots. I'm blinded to know my own self. So I don't know, at the end of the day, I don't know what sort of soul I am inside. I don't know what's going on inside. I don't know my inner world. I haven't given much time, enough time. And so, this power of introspection is needed for me to know my good and bad. And when I, in introspection, when I know myself very well, I'm grounded. Even if someone says, you're very, if they say, they point out any weakness, they say, you are so and so, then because I know myself very clearly, I don't get disturbed, but I'm grounded. I'm working on it. I don't get upset. But yes, I would say I'm working on it, right? But if I don't know myself well, if I don't have that power of introspection, then if somebody says something, I would immediately jump. I would immediately tell them off and not consider at all. So when I'm grounded inside, I have the power to discern. My third eye opens. The more I turn inwards, I let this lens look inwards, then my third eye is able to see my own self. I'm able to discern. I'm able to see things very clearly, right and wrong. I'm able to see the mirage, the temptations of life very clearly. I know my blind spots. So, for all of this, a spiritual practice, meditation, silence is absolutely needed. Otherwise, I don't know. Eventually, I get, I don't know how to be an observer. Yes, that's what it is again. Be an honest observer to your own self. Observe what's going on inside your own self. Be honest about your own self. And so, when I have the power to discern, I know how to be an honest observer. I know how to be a detached observer, honest observer towards my own self, right? I need to honestly look into myself. And detached observer is towards others. Detached observer is not towards my own weaknesses. I have this weakness, I'm very detached. No, detached observer towards the world, towards what's going on externally out there. Because if I'm not a detached observer, then I'm actually picking up everything what's happening there. I'm influenced. When I'm influenced, then it's hitting my, I'm again, it's affecting my blind spots. I'm creating more blind spots inside. So a detached observer is also necessary. I have to be the detached observer. I will be the detached observer if I have a spiritual practice and if I have the power of discernment. So sometimes being just a detached observer is still not enough. I have to be a benevolent observer. Because, say, somebody is not behaving right. Okay, I'm a detached observer. But sometimes I'm trying to be detached, but yet I'm being affected. And then what happens? Immediately, the moment I'm affected, I'm disturbed inside. It triggers my blind spots and I start to react. So a higher, go more. When I have the power of discernment, I go a little more higher. That is a benevolent observer. Let me become such a benevolent observer towards others in the world. Whatever is going on, I am actually not just becoming detached and observing, but I'm helping them to think, I'm helping them to come out of their blind spots. Or I'm Not benevolent observer doesn't just mean that I'm observing their weaknesses, but I'm having good wishes and pure feelings for them so that even they can change, but not wrongly influence. That look, you also have it. So this power of discernment makes me an honest observer towards myself, and a detached observer, a benevolent observer towards others and the world. So sometimes, so one is we've learned about partial blindness, complete blindness, there's double blindness too. And what is this double blindness? So sometimes not just blind spots are not just I'm blind towards my own weaknesses, but sometimes I'm blind towards my own goodness as well, my wonderful potential that I have, that extraordinariness that I have. You know, it is important to know my strengths as well. What am I good at? And how can I use that goodness in something that brings benevolence to everyone around me, towards myself and others? So, this double blindness is like I'm seeing, I'm not able to find my weaknesses nor my strengths. And so, because I don't know what a wonderful person I am, somewhere I'm just sitting in my, you know, in my own cave. I'm not allowing myself to use those strengths, to use those powers, to use that wonder that I have. You know, that's what is life. Life is not just being in a little well. I have to juggle with my own blind spots, my own life. But life is also creating this benevolence, spreading benevolence in the world towards others. So a spiritual practice will also help me, allow me to remove the veil of this ordinariness and see the extraordinariness that I have. See the extraordinariness in you and use that. And so now the most important process of metamorphosis comes in. It's not just identifying my sanskars, identifying my blind spots, but it is about complete transformation. And we have this popular example of a caterpillar changing into a butterfly. No, you have many different beautiful ways to live life. Create that change, bring the transformation. Don't just sit with my own life, but become a victim and feel this is how it is, this is how. No, it's not just blindly following the world. What everyone is doing, I'm also blindly following. Create your new life, create your new methods of living life in a beautiful way. Live your life to the fullest because God has given us a lot. God has given a lot of inner beauty. Let me touch that inner beauty. Let me live that inner potential. And for that, I need to actually do some groundwork. And that groundwork is, first of all, I need to identify what is this process of metamorphosis. First of all, I need to identify what do I have inside me. Why is that I keep experiencing this pain or sorrow again and again? Why is that I get upset with something again and again? Why is that I'm behaving in a certain way again and again? So I need to identify. When I identify, I need to accept that yes, I have it. If I don't accept, then I cannot create that change. Like a butterfly, right? A caterpillar, sorry. A caterpillar, they say that, after a while, the caterpillar is just eating. It's busy eating. It thinks that my life is to just sit and eat. But after some time, there are certain antennas inside the caterpillar saying that you need a better life. There is a beautiful wonder inside you haven't actually discovered. So it these antennas, this um, um, take the caterpillar into the stage of cocoon. But just before that, the caterpillar needs to have that courage to go into a cocoon. So many times, to change our weaknesses, to change our blind spots, to transform ourselves internally, I need that courage. I need to let go of things that are creating a hindrance to my growth. To create that change, I need courage. If I think, no, no, this kind of attitude I need to have so that I can scare others a little bit, or this kind of attitude I need to have, a little bit of anger I need to have. That's what people think in the world. A little bit of, anger is necessary, a little bit of ego I need to have. No, but that's taking me downward spiral. So really, I need to have that courage. Yes, I have this, I identify, I accept, and let me bring that change. And to bring that change, I need to go into cocoon. And this is the most important part of the session, that cocoon. To transform anything inside you, you need to pay attention again and again. You have to go into silence. You need to work on it. And in silence, work on it in silence. You don't have to tell 10 people, I'm working on this, I'm working on this. Be silent. Cocoon is what? When a caterpillar just goes, it lets go. It creates that courage to let go all the eating and external activities, and it goes into its process of metamorphosis. It goes into this cocoon, and that's when it emerges. This beautiful butterfly emerges, a new form gets created. And so anything you want to change in life, it's not that one day I did, 10 days I didn't do, one day I did again, 20 days I forgot about it. No, it has to be a consistent effort. That's when I create that newness. And that's why keep on the track. Keep on the track. The real greatness is that, anything, any transformation in life is a lifelong learning and practice. We live this life every single day. We face things every single day. And so it's a transformation every single day. And so the greatness is about a consistent effort. Many of us, okay, we start meditating, we do for 2 days, and then we are off from our practice. We do a few days, and then we keep a chart for a few days. Yes, I need to journal, I need to check myself, and then again we fall back into laziness or carelessness. But an absolute, I need to stay on track if I really want to spot my blind spots, if I want to change my blind spot, if I want to create a beautiful me. I need to do that consistently, because life is a journey. It's a lifelong learning. It's not about a 1 month of learning or a few days of learning. It's everyday learning and an everyday practice. When I do that every day, that's when I have the strength, right? To create your internal immune system. We can't say that, yes, I'll eat one day and then I will, right? It's not that I will eat one day and then I will skip 2 days. There is no immune system, there is no strength, internal strength at all, right? It has to be every single day. So do whatever you're doing in a consistent way every single day. And that's when there is power, that's when there is transformation. And so this whole process of metamorphosis of inner blind spots, not just uncovering my blind spots, not just identifying, but let me work on it, because if they sit there, then at the end of the day, I am the one who needs to deal with it. So when there is time, they say, when it's, do before time, because when time ticks and when time actually says I need to do, then it could be a harder process, right? When we learn according to time, then time can teach us in a hard way. So let us not leave on time. When time comes, I will do. No, time is right now. It's not that when time comes, then it'll be a harder process for me. Time is right now. This is the time. Now is the time. And I do it. Let me actually, you know, bring this complete transformation in me. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So if you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments, you're most welcome to share.
Om Shanti Maji, beautiful session. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very beautiful session.
Yes.
Madhvi, I have one question. One of my family member watching, and they asked me one question about Dadi Janki. Sometime told one time, do not give pain to others and do not take pain from the other. So they wanted to find out what is that meaning. So they asked me, can you talk with? I said definitely. So I don't understand. I mean, they asked me to talk, ask you the question, what that means.
Sure, definitely we can take, we can have a session
Okay.
on this topic.
Okay, no problem. So when you have a session, just let me know. So I will inform my sister daughter. So she will
Definitely.
know what the session.
Yes, yes. I mean, we can see this as also one of the blind spots, actually, to not to give sorrow, because sometimes we have the habit of giving sorrow to others, and I don't even recognize that I'm actually giving pain to others.
Yeah.
You know, that could be one of my blind spot, because the way I'm doing things may be hurting someone, but I'm not recognizing that I'm actually creating a hurt. I may think I am doing it right, but it's creating hurt for someone. So that is very subtly giving pain. So this is definitely a relevant question to this question, to the session as well. That I need to also check my blind spot of giving sorrow. So not to give to not do not give sorrow, do not take sorrow. Yes, one is that I check my blind spot. I'm very much aware of how I'm speaking, how I'm behaving. I pay attention to my words. I pay attention to my attitude. And oh, yes, I work on not giving sorrow to others, but sometimes I have the blind spot of taking sorrow as well.
Mhm.
you know because if that could be a sensitive nature, that I'm taking sorrow from others, um, and I need to work on it again, of this sanskar of giving sorrow and taking sorrow. Sometimes, um, yes, we're like, touch me not, and any little thing happens, we are crying. Any little thing happens, we are in pain. Any little thing happens, we take the hurt. And so if we are continuously doing that, if we are being sensitive inside and taking hurt again and again, then my immune system of the soul goes down completely. And then that's what I will start to give to others as well, because that's what I'm taking from others. So yes, I need to, this could also be one of the blind spots, and I need to work on it. that pay attention to my attitude, words, my moods, so that I'm not hurting anyone, I'm not giving pain to anyone unknowingly. And at the same time, I have to create a strong heart inside. I have to, work on not being too sensitive and taking, sorrow from others.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Om Shanti Madhvi.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Madhivan.
Om Shanti. Yes.
Uh, can we watch this on YouTube?
Yes, I've recorded it. I'll be posting on YouTube soon. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. It was a nice session. I did not listen all of that, so I wanted to listen that again.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sister. It was very beautiful session. Very, thank you very much. It is
Thank.
really very deep, and thank you very much.
Sure. Remember, you asked me this question, blind spots.
Exactly. Yes. You take in the in before one session you take 25 minutes on 20 minutes, but this is really deep and very very thoroughly. Is very very knowledgeable. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. So, thank you.